if you don't know how to spend or budget your money, if you don't know how to budget your time, people will know how to spend both of them very well for you. So that was what I've had to learn, because you know how we'll go out to eat and we like to be generous and we'll like to pay the bill, and it's like, act like you don't got it. And sometimes that'll save you from going to certain tables that you probably shouldn't be at anyway.
Yo, what's going on, fam? It's your boy, Anthony O'Neal. Welcome back to the table. It's Monday morning, and y'all already know we're going to keep it real, relevant, and relatable. We do this every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and today I am so pumped because, man, I met this amazing queen a few years ago. She is a celebrity. She is a woman of God, but y'all know we keep it real, and she's probably one of the realest artists, celebrities, people, sisters in the world that I have had the opportunity to meet. You all know her as Kierra Sheard, but she is now Kierra Sheard-Kelly. My sister is married. She is a singer, a songwriter, an actress. She killed it on BET, and an activist from Detroit, Michigan. And so we don't need no introduction. She doesn't really need an introduction because everyone in the world knows this amazing queen. What up, sis? How are you?
What up, brother? I'm good. I'm hanging in there just trying to be like you. Trying to be like you.
Nah, sis. No. I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to get on your level. I'm trying to get married one day. I'm trying to write a couple of books. I'm trying to be on BET. I'm just trying to be like you.
But I'm trying to be in my bag like you. Look, you want to go back and forth?
There we go.
Listen, I'm watching.
Hey, let's get it. Let's get it. I'm with you. I understand it. But yo, let's dive straight into it because you just wrote a book called Big, Bold, and Beautiful. This is your first book, right?
Yes, my first book. I was so nervous about it, but this is the first one.
Yo, listen, you guys. We're going to link all of her information below, but you all know I do not bring any and everybody on my show to promote books. So if they are on my show and they have a book, it's because I trust their character, I trust their integrity, and I trust the content. And what I love about Kierra's book, and I wrote this down on my computer because I wanted to make sure that I have all my notes on it. She covers a lot of topics, ladies, okay? There's a lot of topics. But my sister talked about the money in this book, and she's talking about 6 ways to secure the bag. And I was like, get her on the show. I called my producer. I said, get her on the show. We're going to talk about this. But I think at the same time, what I love about Kierra's, your heart, is you're bold. You're just honest. You're transparent. And I love the book. I had a chance to read it because I wanted to make sure that you come on my show. I know what's up. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. When it comes to money, why do you want the ladies to pay themselves? Like, what's so important about that?
I think it's so important that, we have some left for ourselves because sometimes we don't know how to say no. We may have children. We may be married. We may have family members who see that we are more responsible when it comes to our finances, and sometimes we'll feel obligated to them. And so what I've learned to do is to just hide some money, and I actually can stick to saying I don't have it to lend to you. So it's like your way out. And so that's why I say pay yourself, because one other thing I'll say, and I've been guilty of it, is I've always bought into trends. And then I would find that I was going through money like water. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And now I have like closets full of clothes that I don't wear, I don't touch. I probably am giving things away. Like right now, it's a Louis Vuitton bag behind a chair as if it's collecting dust. And so for you to have spent that much money on something, you could have put that, and paid yourself and saved it to where it will get interest other than it collecting dust. So that's why I always say pay yourself, so that you're not just only looking good on the outside, but you're actually secure internally, and you have some for yourself. I talk about the emergency fund versus the red bottom because, society is so into the red bottom, and I had to correct myself. But that's why I say pay yourself. Really take care of yourself. Don't just post pictures of the things you have, but take care of yourself.
Yo, Kierra Sheard just said I had to talk about the emergency fund compared to the red bottoms. The red bottoms, the shoes, the beautiful shoes that ladies just love. And you know what's so funny is you know this, that I think it was like most recent study came out that nearly 50% of the people in the world do not even have $1,000 in their emergency fund. And I'm curious to see how many ladies don't have $1,000 in their emergency fund, but they got a Louis Vuitton bag or a pair of red bottoms. I'm not a sister, so I can't answer that question. But I would, especially, well, no, I'm going to leave that alone. I don't want to get in trouble with my people, and Kierra will let me off. So she will let me know, Anthony, going too far right there, bruh. But, you know, I got to ask you this. You know, you are in the, you're a public figure. You're in the spotlight.
Yes.
By America's definition, you are a celebrity. And so oftentimes we see in this culture that a lot of people have this fake rich. They're trying to compare to others and have what everyone else have. In your book, you talk about stop comparing yourselves to others because it holds you back. Let's talk about a little bit about that. What do you think when it comes to our finances? Why is the comparison game such a dangerous zone for us to operate in?
Oh, it's because you try to keep up with what the world is defining as success or what someone else is defining as success. And they may be at a different space than you, or they could be, like you said, fake rich in it. And these could be things that they only have temporarily that they're only supposed to post about.
Yep.
But because they want to seem financially secure, they're posting it as if they own it. And so instead of having or living with the renter's mindset, why not take on the owner's mindset? And that's what my father, my grandfather, and my family have been sticklers of. So I think it's so important. And I think it even goes beyond the material things because sometimes we'll compare ourselves to the Instagram model and we're not secure. So we look beautiful, you know, outside or externally, but internally we're all broken up. So the book, it's not just speaking to the material things, but it's also speaking to this spiritual side of yourself. Like, really take care of yourself. And I think that it's been proven that when our finances are not secure, it really tampers with our sanity. And so I just would love to see more of us secure in that space. Not just saying, oh, I'm a boss, babe. I'm a boss this, I'm this. It's like, are you really a boss in your space when you get home? You know, so I think I just said the other day, and it's a chapter in the book where I said, I'm redefining some things in my life.
Okay.
I'm not going to allow you to tell me what pretty looks like. I'm not going to allow you, because just a couple years ago, you know, society was saying that just the straight size woman looked beautiful. Then we started embracing body positivity. Now we're, you know, embracing surgeries and being public about it, which is nothing wrong with it. But if I'm constantly chasing after what another person is telling me is beautiful, I may be chasing for something that's unobtainable, and that's a dangerous place.
Sha-ba-ba-ba-ba. Kierra's starting to get started, y'all. Get her 2 questions. She about to go in. Like, what? You know, that's that. Yo, listen. So let's stay right there. I know these are not the normal questions that I sent you earlier, but I mean, you said something that was so true. How do ladies, because I'm saying we, like I'm a sister, I'm not, but the majority of people who watch my show, I think it's like 60%, I think, are ladies. So let's talk to them. Brothers, stand by. We'll be right back to you. But ladies, how does a woman become a boss lady internally? First, like, what are some things that they should be thinking about that helps them heal and helps them feel good internally so we can see it on the external?
So for me, I will speak for what allows me to walk in this confidence that I've embraced, and it is my faith. If you allow me to give scripture,
come on.
The word says that that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty, and you find rest. And that rest that I have gained with my relationship with Christ and with God, it has caused me to just move differently. Like, I understand that there's a such thing as dealing with people. I was going to write a chapter in this book called The Vibes You Feel. And sometimes we can be moved by that. But I think, too, we should understand that sometimes that comes from, like, discernment. So you can be selective. So self-care is not just the bath, with candles. It is that. And it's not just the bags that you can buy yourself, because sometimes you do need to treat yourself and reward yourself. But for me, I think the confidence has to do, too, with how you are selective with your village. Like I often say, the village is not just for the child. The village is for the adult, too. You need some people to tell you, you wrong. You need some people to tell you, no, that's fair. You need somebody to tell you, nah, you tripping. I respect when my mom tells me if I go whisper in her face, baby, you need an Altoid. Here you go. I'm not offended. So I think the security comes from those two that are not intimidated by your destiny and the value that you bring to the table, to where they have your best interest at heart. So I would say it's your God, it's your crew, and then it has everything to do with your alone time. Like, what are you telling yourself when you're by yourself? Are you always over criticizing? Because I have a tendency to do that. I'm super hard on myself, and I have to celebrate the incremental progresses that sometimes we overlook. We don't sit in that moment. So I think those are the things that contribute to that confidence. Also, sometimes taking a break from social media. Because and I think it was Theodore Roosevelt that said, comparison is the thief of joy. Some of us aren't happy all because we're looking at the other woman. So I think that those are ways to become confident within yourself, and to also reflect internally and say, this is what I have, this is what I'm responsible for, that's what you doing, that's good. Until it's time, I'll be there. And if it's not, supposed to be mine, then that's it. Rest in that. I think those are my things that allow me to be confident. And then my husband. Get people around you that are going to affirm you. But I talk about that too, Anthony. I'll say in the book, I didn't depend on no man to tell me that I was pretty. I didn't wait on no man to take the trip. You got to find some security, within yourself. So those are ways I hope that helps.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just now tuned in, this is Pastor Bishop Kierra.
Oh my God. Please don't.
She just preached a whole sermon in 5 minutes. I asked her one question and she listed 4 examples. But no, on the real though, you guys, if you're wondering the stock she comes from, her father is the legend, the great bishop, the newly appointed bishop of the largest African-American denomination in the world, Church of God in Christ.
Wow.
And you see the fruit of her parents. I'm telling you, she's real. She's saved, but she also got a little bit of that street in her. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Don't get it twisted. Hey, real quick, you said something about your husband, and I'm curious because you said my husband, your village. What is one thing that our ladies should be looking for in their husband to help them along their journey? What is that one thing that a husband should provide? Because you said something. And I don't want to go off subject because I want to stick to the money part. But I'm your village is very, very important. What role has your husband played for you when you're this woman who you didn't need a man? You didn't. You were good on your own. But he came in and swept you off your feet. I remember when you posted, I was like, where did this brother come from? So I'm like, wait, what happened? But he did something. And what is one thing, without telling your personal business, what is one thing you want to encourage ladies to look for in their husband when it comes to being big, bold, and beautiful on the inside?
Such a good question. Again, for me, it's the faith piece. If you allow me to give you 2, I know you asked for 1, but my mama said, get you a man that loves God, because if he loves God more than he loves you, he won't cheat on you.
Okay.
And I think that speaks to the conviction of the man and the spiritual awareness of the man.
Yeah.
And I know it's a lot of women that are like, girl, I done dated a pastor and they cheated, so I get it. But I feel like there is some discernment that will come into place. But the other thing that I would say is the security. Make sure the man is secure within himself, because when he's not secure, he could be searching for things and it could turn into hurting you, if that makes sense. And my husband is secure. He's so unimpressed, and I love that.
Yeah.
He's totally fine with his woman doing his thing, celebrating his woman. There's no jealousy that creeps in. So I could go on and on, but my husband also prays. His life and the way he lives, while I'm a gospel singer and a bishop's daughter, his life has convicted me that I wasn't all the way in it like I thought I was.
Wow.
So I think those are the things that I should have been looking for, and finally I have it. I can get emotional talking about that.
Well, a big, bold, and beautiful woman needs a man who is connected to Jesus Christ and secure in who he is and is technically in the man who God made him to be. And I think that's so important. When you guys think about your finances, AKA your money, do you get stressed? Do you get anxious? Do you feel like, hey, where do I start? How do I begin? What do I do? Well, check it. I totally get it because I remember being 18 years old, being a young man, living paycheck to paycheck, homeless, sleeping in the back of my car. I totally get it. But I got something I want to share with you that's going to help change your financial future. And this is called Ramsey Plus. Ramsey Plus is going to give you this step-by-step plan, the step-by-step guide on how to change your financial future. Inside of Ramsey Plus, you're going to learn how to get an emergency fund, how to get out of debt, how to start building wealth, how to start investing. We're going to teach you everything you need to know on how to change your financial future. So for right now, if you text the word AO plus to 33789, I'm going to give you a free 30-day trial. Now check this out, you guys. Let me be real with you, all right? Can you think about what can happen if you commit to 30 days? What those 30 days can do for the next 30 years of your family's life and your life? Listen, I can't say nothing else. Text the word AO plus to 33789 so you can change your family's future. This is your boy Anthony O'Neill, and I approve this message. Yo, all right, let's get back on script because I want to make sure we bless the people with the money stuff that you're talking about in your book. And y'all, I really want you all to get her book. We're going to drop the link below. I'm telling you right now, you will be blessed. Tribe, let's support this amazing sister, and I promise you will learn something. But sis, you say that you should play broke and learn to say no. Now, listen, I got to ask you this because, as a single man, when I say no to like other ladies, they call me broke and they say that's a turnoff. But you're telling ladies to play broke and to say no. Help me understand this because I'm confused that a sister is saying act broke, but then when a man act broke, it's a turnoff. So talk to me. I need some wisdom here. Help me understand what you mean.
So I think it's a turnoff to women who don't know this principle, which is to save something for yourself. It's only unattractive from someone who's not speaking your language or who may not have been elevated in that way of thinking. And so I've had to learn that, my father, how our parents used to be like, we'll be like, can we get this? Can we get that? And they'd be like, maybe. You wanted a yes or no. And it was like, maybe. So I found as I've grown older, I'm like, oh, I got why y'all was like maybe because I learned to underpromise.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that I had to learn to do. And if you don't know how to spend or budget your money, if you don't know how to budget your time, people will know how to spend both of them very well for you. So that was what I've had to learn because you know how we'll go out to eat and we like to be generous and we'll like to pay the bill and it's like, act like you don't got it. And sometimes that'll save you from going to certain tables that you probably shouldn't be at anyway. So just say, baby, I don't got it today, child. So that's what I've learned to do. And I think it's so important.
Kierra,
my granddad does it too.
He does? Okay, cool, great. You have any single people in your community? I'm coming to your community. Because,
I do.
You said budget. And last year, I went viral because I told a woman that I couldn't take her to this expensive restaurant because it wasn't in this month's budget. And do you know how many ladies told me, if a man is on a budget, you shouldn't be dating them?
Oh, no. That's probably why we keep bumping into the wrong guys because we're attracted to the wrong thing.
Say that again. Can you say that again, please? It's just for the people. Kierra said it, not me.
That's probably why. And listen, ladies, because I know everybody's in this like cancel culture. Don't cancel me. I'm telling you that I've made poor choices, and that's how I've learned to get the answer now. But budget is only a characteristic of self-discipline. So if you have budgeting coming from your man's terminology or language or vocabulary bank, then that's not a red flag. That's a blessing from on high, sis.
What she said. What my sister just said. What this from the world's category, from what the world says, from a wealthy celebrity, famous individual. She said a man who has that vocabulary within his language, go get him. Which I think is so true. And I'm laughing because Dave Ramsey, he's worth several $100 million and he budgets.
Wow.
This man knows. I can ask him, hey, Dave, when's the last time you spent 50 cents? He'll tell me. So if a multi-millionaire can tell me where he spent his money, how come everyday people just can't just budget and know what they spend? And I for me, budget gives me freedom. And if I have, a line item that says dates, and if I'm dating a woman, then I have freedom. We can go anywhere within that budget. I'm cool. But now once I hit that budget, I'm trying to show her like, hey, I'll be a good steward of my resources. And when we get married, if we get married, you can trust the fact that finances, we're going to argue, but money will not be one of those arguments,
Absolutely.
And I think that is so, so, so important. Now, Kierra, I think you and I think like this too. We're big on budgeting. But we're also big on making sure that we also enjoy our money. We work hard for it. Let's be real. You out there, clothing lines, writing books, creating albums. And y'all, check out her last album. I mean, to hear Kierra Sheard and the one and only Missy Elliott, good God. I said, come on, sis, let's get this music. So you have all this stuff and you killing it, right? But you still splurge a little bit. You come on, look at you. I see you. The hair is right. Makeup is right. You know what I'm saying? You look good. To the women that may be thinking like, all right, I got to pay off my debt. I got to stack this money and I don't have time to splurge. Encourage that young woman, that young lady right now that's saying, you know what? I got to do all this and I don't have time for freedom. Why and when should she have some freedom to spend and to splurge a little bit?
Because it's a way of rewarding yourself. It's almost like a diet. And I use this because I've struggled with my weight. I've gone back and forth, but I've learned to gain healthy choices or change my relationship with food, if that makes sense. But it's ways to reward yourself or even to send signals to your brain. We know when it comes to those endorphins that are sending signals through your body, like I'm satisfied, I'm happy. You're telling yourself, well done, good job. Yeah. Because if life always feels like a job, then that's why we keep going back to bad and poor habits. So you have to celebrate yourself, too, to see that this is what budgeting has done for you. So this is why this new way of life is beneficial for you. It's beneficial for your legacy, for your children that are unborn or your children that are here. Yeah. And I think it's so important that we do that because you can't wait for other people to celebrate you. Yeah. Because sometimes their way of celebration is not necessarily what you need. And then when it comes to celebrating yourself or splurging, you know what you need as far as a vacation. Maybe it's like you want to go to Cabo, maybe you want to go to Africa, maybe you want to go to Fiji. But what are your pockets telling you? While your pockets are telling you what needs to happen, what is your body actually saying that it needs? And I'm sure that God has provided in your budget ways to give your body what it needs. And then after a while, you'll be able to grow to where you want to go. So there's a difference. And the word talks about being content, knowing the things that we need versus the things that we want. So I think that there's a such thing as splurging, but when you're downloading heaven's definition when it comes to living, and actually living well, you just make decisions differently, and it benefits you in the future than just in the moment.
Whew. I think everyone needs a vacation, but a vacation may be in home, or a vacation may be in the city. It doesn't have to be in Hawaii. It doesn't have to be out of the country. I think you just got to step back, like you said, and identify, okay, what's in your budget, and what do you need? Everyone needs a break. Yeah. Everyone needs some time to step back. But it doesn't mean you need to go to Hawaii, go to Greece, go to Jamaica. Nah, stay behind home, if that's within your means. Now, if you have the means to go to Hawaii, cool, great. Great stuff. Yeah. Now, Kierra, this next question I had to ask. I wrote this one down because I was like, she don't do this. She don't do this one. I need to ask this on my show. Okay. Because you tell people, leave the house, no credit cards, no debit cards, just cash. Just straight up cash. Are you telling me, Kierra, that you step out of that house with cash? If so, help me understand why. I need to know why.
So I'm going to be honest. So it is a tip that I applied and I was doing. I think I read it actually, an article that was by Mr. Dave Ramsey, and it was the cash envelope system.
Yep.
And I've told my sisters this. I have a mentorship, and I was telling them different ways to learn budgeting. And so that was the tip that I applied, and I said, try this tip. And so I tried the tip. So now what I do is I have like 3, not everybody, don't judge me, y'all, but I'm just telling you my tip. I'm being honest. But I have 3 accounts attached to one debit card.
Okay.
No. I have one account attached to one debit card, and I have other accounts. Let me say it that way.
Okay.
This account, I treat it like it's a Dave & Buster's card. So I put coins in it for the games that I play, but once I max out, that's it. So because I don't want to carry cash on me now, because, I may be in the city.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be, my husband too, would fuss at me about getting gas on my own.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, I ride on faith, my car on faith with no gas sometimes. So I don't carry cash on me. But that is my way of doing the cash envelope system. And I don't do the credit cards anymore for me because it's not a good behavior. It just didn't work for me because I found myself depending on the credit card when I actually didn't have the money and my emergency fund, not even. So it was enabling me, with poor choices. So that's why I say leave the things that cause you to spend when you don't got no business spending. Leave it at home and take your tail home when it's time for you to tap out.
Y'all listen, man. If y'all ain't following Kierra Sheard, she just earned like 10 more cool points with me. Like, this woman, you the truth. Y'all need to be a part of her community. She already got 1 million plus followers. Give her another 1 million. Like you are speaking truth. You're speaking wisdom, and that's real. Credit cards don't work for me neither. I think for me personally, I was like you. I had a credit card for emergencies, and then when I found her, and I wanted to take her out on a date, that became an emergency. When the latest Jordans came out, that became an emergency. When I needed a haircut and I didn't want to spend the $20 in my pocket, that became an emergency. And then emergencies led to this, to that, to that. Then I'm $35,000 in debt worth of emergencies.
Exactly.
And so I feel you. So like now, my whole philosophy is if I can't buy it twice, I don't buy it at all.
Absolutely.
And if I don't have the cash, I'll just wait. I was on the phone with another big celebrity. I won't name his name because I like him. We just disagree on something else. And and he was like, man, that is the way to go. Spend other people's money and build your own money. And I'm like, I disagree with that because if the other people want their money back, then I got to give it to them. They own all my stuff and not me.
Exactly.
So, did you know that there are nearly 45 million American people that total up to have $1.6 trillion in student loan debt? Did you know that one of the main reasons preventing people from building true and lasting wealth are student loans? The average person will graduate with $35,000 in student loans, but a fifth of these people will graduate with a mortgage payment but don't even have real estate. That's right. They graduate with $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in student loan debt. And when I wrote the book, Debt-Free Degree, and I was out there on book tour, and people were asking me, hey, I'm getting this book for my child, but what do you have for me? I have student loans, and I need to pay them off, but I need direction. So I wrote a book called Destroy Your Student Loan Debt, the step-by-step plan on how to pay off your student loans. I want you to get the book. It's only 55 pages long, and I literally walk you through step by step. How do you refi your student loans? How do you pay them off quicker? How do you negotiate some payments lower? I walk you through every single thing. It's a quick read. And if you buy it, it's only $10. $10 can save you 10 years. Get the book right now. Go to AnthonyO'Neill.com, AnthonyO'Neill.com, and change the next 10 years of your life. It's your boy, Anthony O'Neill, and I approve this message. Listen, if you just now tuned into the show, y'all, you need to go back to the very beginning, okay? If you listen on podcasts, go back to the very beginning because from the first minute of this show, Kierra Sheard-Kelly, because I want to respect her husband because I like this brother.
Thank you.
She came on here speaking some knowledge and wisdom. And so I want y'all to make sure you get all this. And again, I'm going to say this again. Go get my sister's book. Let's support her. Yo, so I talk about investing all the time. I'm very big on investing, especially within our community. Our community, the average person would die leaving bills and benefits. No wealth, no land, no businesses, no income, just bills and benefits. And oftentimes those benefits are barely enough to pay for the bills. You talk a little bit about this in your book, about investing our money for the future because it shows us a better way of living today. What do you mean by that in your book, sis?
So I guess for me, this liberated me even more when it came to investment because there was scripture to back it up.
Go
and when God says it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, then this is legit then.
Yo, let's go.
But it was Ecclesiastes 11:2. And I won't read it, but I have learned to be okay with, like you said, investing in maybe real estate for me is something that I've gotten into, and I'm a little bit more secure in that space.
Okay.
Now, stocks and things like that, that's like my husband, and I think it was it Mr. Dave Ramsey that says, don't invest in things you don't understand.
Absolutely.
So I'm still like learning it, and I've been, very careful. Now, I do have some investments in stocks, but I'm always like reporting to my husband, like, okay, what is going on? Tell me what's happening. Tell me about my portfolio. So he's like my accountability partner in that space.
Okay.
But I definitely believe, like I was telling you, instead of investing in these bags and shoes that collect dust, you might as well put it in somewhere where it's going to accumulate other dollars than dust.
Facts.
So that's why I think investing is so important because, again, it goes beyond now the emergency fund. It's just, what are you leaving behind? Are you only leaving a bill for your child to have to take care of? So I want my children to be blessed, after I'm gone.
Man, that's and I love the way you and your husband are thinking. And I love how you're keeping it real. Like, hey, you guys, I don't know much about stocks. And Dave does teach and I do teach this as well. Only invest in things that you know. And make sure your financial advisor is educating you along the journey, or your real estate partner is educating you along the journey, because you want to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. Because I'm like you,
Absolutely.
I only do real estate and I only do mutual funds. That's it. I don't do single stocks.
Okay.
I don't do anything else. Just real estate and mutual funds. That's where all my wealth is. That's where all my wealth will be for my kids. But I'm also studying. Okay. I'm the money guy. And I'm still studying. I'm still learning a lot of things around that, especially in the real estate world. I just get up with Dave and like, Dave, how do I do this? I just bought a property downtown Nashville. Bought it for a good little penny. But I told myself I'm not selling it. I'm going to pay it off, and I'm going to leave this in a trust for my kids. And my kids can't sell it, but my kids' kids can't sell it. And by that time, it will be in the high seven figures of this house downtown, because I bought it in a gentrified area. So I took my money back to the community. And so hopefully by the time my kids get older, it will be a fully redeveloped community for us. And I'm excited about that. So I'm rocking with you so much on that. Now,
thank you.
This next one is so interesting. And I've gotten in trouble on this next one. And I retracted what I said because it is so funny. We are raising a generation of ladies who are honestly doing it on their own. They're creating they're starting businesses. The number one rising entrepreneur to be honest, is an African-American Black woman. They are building legacy on their own. And I've always had this analogy that a man and a woman should build legacy together. And I had to retract that and be like, yo, ladies, they're out here doing a daggone thing. What legacy do you want to leave, and how does that drive your daily actions for you and your family, sis?
The legacy that I want to leave is to always make decisions for the bigger picture. And I feel like that kind of covers everything. It covers your relationships, your time spent, your money, how you treat people, what you choose to deal with. And I think, too, it even says to take the risks that are necessary for the big picture. Like, don't be afraid to do whatever it is. So the legacy, too, is that I want to leave behind is to not live for people, but to live for God, and to always make sure you're building something different too. You're blazing the trail for those that are coming behind you.
Yeah.
But always having the heart of a servant and a steward. So that's a lot. But go after it all.
Yeah.
And I hope that, whoever is watching me just live my life, they're inspired in that way.
Amen.
Don't put on the front for people.
Uh-oh.
Like
I like
really
that.
like live your truth. Yeah.
Live your truth. Be the 110% authentic self.
Yeah, but don't live a truth that ain't right, but you made it true. Like you made it true for yourself. That ain't really, that ain't. It's just.
So I hear what you're saying. So you're saying, one of my mentors said something to me. Oh, he said there's a difference between your reality and the truth. And the truth is as long as it lines up with the word of God. Reality is your reality. So I see what you're saying. Because
that's perfect.
That's hard. That's hard. Because you know what? Kierra, I got to remind myself, live your truth, Anthony. Be your authentic self.
Me too.
And whoever don't like you, that's fine. And I've lost friendships because of my authentic truth. I've lost a significant other. I was engaged about 4 years ago. And because I stepped into my authentic truth, I was tired of being fake and acting like I was okay. I lost her. And I didn't lose her. We both agreed to step away because, hey, we both wanted different things. And so there's, the Bible says it, the truth, God's truth, the truth that aligns with God's word will set you free. And,
absolutely.
And sometimes that freedom does come with emotional pain, but it brings you so much joy and freedom in the future. And so thank you for saying that.
For sure. And can I add to what you said, bro?
Go ahead.
You said joy. So we look for happy, but happy is predicated upon what's happening. Whereas joy is something that's solid. Like it's going to stick, it's going to stay, and you're good. And so I think that is the game that you get. So I understand why the seasoned folks would say, what does it profit a man to gain the world but lose his soul? I get it now. So I just had to add that because I've learned the difference between happy and joy.
Listen here. You going to be a pastor one day, Kierra? I got to ask you that question. I got to ask you that. Because that word is rooted in you. It comes out. I bet you cannot have a conversation. You can be street, you can be a little ratchet. The word's still going to come out of you. I can just only tell. Lord have mercy. She said, what does it mean to gain the whole world? Let me stop playing. My Lord. Let's end it right there. Because, and I believe this. And I want to set this up. For those of you all who follow me, you know that my spiritual direction is that of Christianity. I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I believe in God. I am a proud Christian. So this next question that I'm going to ask and end on with my sister Kierra, I do not mean to offend and anyone who's not a Christian, but I do believe you can get something from this. And if you want to meet the Lord and love the Lord, stay right here. Sis, you believe that when we honor God with what we have, He's going to give us a lot more. And I believe with that too. Let's break that down. And you talk about this in your book and so many other things, but I really want to just land this conversation. I wish I had some more time with you, but I got to respect your time and respect our listeners' time because I told them I'm going to give them a good 35 minutes. But what does honoring God look like for you and your husband on a practical level? And then practical and then on a spiritual. Let's go practical. What does that look like on a practical level for you and your husband?
So for me, I've learned that worship and living for God is not just the song you sing. It's not only the time you live in church. It's how you are a good steward of what he has given you. And so for me, that is how I honor the Lord with what I have. I don't treat it recklessly. Like if you come in my house, you may see some clothes laying around. But to me, how I treat my house is also me saying, God, I appreciate you for allowing me to have these things. And so that too, and my car is junky sometimes, but I'm going to clean it out after a while because I'll get convicted because I shouldn't be allowing things to just, pile up. So it has everything to do with like how we do for Christmas. If I give you a gift, if I know what I spent on that gift, and the truth of the matter is God paid a price for you to have the life that you live.
Facts.
But if I give you a good gift, bro, I'm going to ask you, how them shoes doing? I ain't seen you warm in a minute. That was, and my Nana, she used to say, if you don't like it, now give it back to me. And so I understand. So speaking of a practical way, I think it has to do with tithing. If that's not giving, God your 10%. And I read not too long ago where there's a leader who gives God his 90% and he lives off of the 10.
Yeah.
But to speak to practical, it could also be how you are generous and sharing those gifts. That is an overflow.
Yeah.
Because he said, I'll give you a blessing that it's going to be hard for you to have it all to yourself. You will have to share it.
Yeah.
And so I think, too, with the choices, because I believe in sowing seeds into fertile ground. So let me stop there because I could go. But those are some practical ways. It's just pretty much the mentality and how you treat, the things that God is giving you. How are you saving your money? And I think the emergency fund is not just, or even the ways of saving. It's not just because I want to be rich, but it too is a way of saying, God, this is what I'm doing with it. And there's stories in the Bible where he said, tell me where you put them talents I gave you. You ain't did nothing with that. So I think that is what's practical for me.
I told y'all. She said, I'm a stop. And she went right back into it. She a preacher,
I'm trying to work on it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on it.
Hey, I'm sitting like, go ahead. You ain't done yet. I know there's some more in there. Go ahead and get it. Say, go ahead and let the Lord use you. But this is why you're not perfect. You have things that you're working on, but I believe this is why God is blessing you because you have evolved and you are evolving. Like me, I have evolved and I am evolving. And I'm learning to be a better steward of the things, this shirt on me, this mic that I'm on, the camera that you're on right now, the team, this table, this office, this building that I'm in, Dave Ramsey, none of this is ours. All of it is God's. We are just called to be good managers of it. Yes. And I share this story always, to not to be boastful, but a lot of people say, Anthony, living a debt-free life, you can't enjoy life, it's going to be boring. And no, what I really do believe is I remember driving my old school car. And Kierra, I would wash that car 2 times a week. Everyone said, well, why are you washing this car 2 times a week? I said, because it's my dream car. But it's an ugly car. And I'm like, well, to you it's ugly. But to me, I want to show God that if he gives me the resources to purchase my dream car, I can be good with the few things, the small things. So when he does give me the car that costs me a lot of money, he will know that I will be a good steward of it. When I go from this apartment to my dream house, he will know that I will be a good steward of it. When I go from being single, check this out, to being married, he will know that I will be a good steward of it because I'm being a good steward over my life. I can pay my bills. I can provide for myself. And so I think a lot of people get it confused on the basic level. Like, y'all, just be faithful over the few. And when God sees that you could be a good steward over that, when you're a good steward over your single season, when you're a good steward over this car, when you're a good steward over your job. Don't ask God to make you an owner of a company when you can't even be a good steward of your job. And so on the practical level, says you speaking good. Now, I'm driving my dream car. And I don't wash it 2 times a week because I ain't got that much time. But, it's clean. It stays clean. But hey, Kierra, real quickly before we leave, what are some other things you talk about in your book outside of money so that people can know exactly what they can expect to get inside your book?
Oh, man. First of all, you talking about me giving this good word. I'm over here trying to hold my tears back like, oh, my God. Oh, that was so good. I'm up here trying to stop the ugly cry.
Lord Jesus,
but
you're good.
it was so good, and I just want to say I'm a fan of you, and I thank you, Anthony, for what you do for just people. It's just amazing. So thank you, because you give us so many answers that maybe our family can't give us. So I'm sorry, I just had to throw that out there. I'm a fan. That was my fan moment. Okay, let me keep it moving. So I have in here God as my agent. You just spoke about it, how, when you show what you're doing, how you treating it, God will reward you, if you remain faithful. And I talk about pick up the pieces and grab the glue, doing it God's way. Because for a long time, I was doing it my way. And that's both just living, outside of his will. And then things turned around. I was like, I'm going to actually try it your way. I talk about not comparing yourself to the other woman. And I talk about relationships when you have to make decisions, when there are drain-like relationships versus fountain-like relationships. Yeah. The fountain is refreshing. The drain, it drains, and it only keeps the same water right there.
Wow.
So that was just a few.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, Kierra, you and I are starting something brand new today on my show that I think is pretty cool. So I'm so honored you're going to help me out with this. But moving forward, I'm going to actually be giving my thought of the week to where I'm answering people's questions. And so if you have any questions, you go on ahead and send them on in, and I will ask the question to myself or to, any guests that we have. But Kierra, here's the question of the week, and I want to know your thoughts, and I'll give you my thoughts. So the question is, Ayo, I am currently dating a man. I am concerned. I see some things I do not like. What are some red flags I should be looking for when it comes to his finances? What's your thoughts, sis?
If you bring up the topic budget and he can't have that conversation with you, that's a red flag.
Wait. Wait. So you telling me that if you bring up, if she's a single woman, how should she even bring up the word budgeting? Like how? Because whoa, that's good. I like that. But how should she even introduce that topic though, sis? Like budgeting? Like should she just say, like, do you budget? That she should just ask that question.
Yeah, or how are you with numbers? Like, this is what I have goals. I'm trying to reach this,
Ooh.
and I want to get your thoughts or your perspective on this. And what are because I've tried it before with guys who don't do budgeting, and they get an attitude. So I'm like, okay, well, this is a problem. Whereas when I was dating my husband, it was like, this is where I am, this is where I can be better, and maybe we can grow together. I was like, all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard Kierra, boy. That's my sister. She need to come do the show with me. Let's fly her to Nashville. That's one red flag. If he cannot articulate how he is budgeting, if he can't be a good steward with his money, then he can't be a good steward with y'all's money. Ooh, that's a good one. Here's my thought. When it comes to his finances, my thoughts is this. Look at how he stewards himself. Look at what he wears. Look at what he's driving. And look at, what does he value? The Bible says you can tell a man's heart where his treasure is. If everything is about the external, but he has no investments, he's not investing into paying off his debt or bettering his finances, that is a red flag. A lot of people get confused. I date potential. Well, I think you should date two things. You should date fruit and you should date potential. Fruit simply means if he says, hey, my goals are to become debt-free. Hey, my goals are to start a business. Hey, my goals are to, set aside 3 to 6 months of emergencies. Or, hey, my goals are to start investing more. You should be looking for evidence of that fruit while you are dating. And then you can also date potential because every person is going to be evolving. So that's cool. That's gravy. But don't only date potential. Date fruit and potential. So if you don't see any fruit from what he says that he desires to do, or even the brothers, if you don't see fruit from what she says, then check this out. I'm sorry. That's a red flag that needs to be addressed. Maybe not on in the very, very beginning, but before you all get into a committed situation and you start courting and going towards marriage, yes, that needs to be a conversation that you have to have. That's just
Yeah.
my thought. Yo, sis, today has been fun, man. I wish we can keep going and going and going and going. You are absolutely amazing. Tell the people where can they learn more about you, your music, your book, your life. You're on TV. I'm like, yo, you and Jonathan McReynolds are just killing it. I got to get him on the show here next. But y'all are just killing it out there for the gospel industry. Thank you all so much for being cool, hip, relevant, and saved at the same time. So where can the people find out more about you?
You can just go to the website. I am KierraSheard.com. Literally, all of my social media is there. Or you can go, I'm on Instagram as just Kierra Sheard.
Yo, do that. We'll drop a link to her book below, you guys. Please support my sister. She will bless your life. And follow her on IG, man. You'll learn so much more about her heart, her passion, her family, the Sheard family, Sheard-Kelly family now, an amazing family to follow. I am a huge fan of her father's. He has blessed my life spiritually tremendously, and I'm looking forward to this next season of his life. And I'm looking forward to the next season of Kierra Sheard-Kelly's life. And follow her. Get her book. She will bless you. I promise you. It's your boy, Anthony O'Neill. We're going to see y'all next week, Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll keep it real, relevant, and relatable. And we did just that today with my sister, Kierra Sheard-Kelly. Peace.